Hare Krishna. I welcome everyone to this new session on Bhagavad Gita as it is. Thank you all so much for joining, and we have seen that there has been a roaring response. There are lots of people who have registered for this course that is about to begin today. We plan to cover Bhagavad Gita as it is, 18 chapters in 18 sessions. The classes will be every Tuesday, and for US timings, it will be Tuesday evenings. And for India, I believe it would be Wednesday mornings. So this series will be presented by some very well read and well informed instructors, and they will walk you through the entire Bhagavad Gita. Before we get into the class as such, I just want to give you an overview of what you can expect out of this course. So, this course is targeted towards adults. So, that's the first thing. This course is exclusively for adults, and we highly encourage newcomers. If you have not read the Bhagavad Gita, or if you're completely new to the Bhagavad Gita, this is the course that you have to log into and listen. So we encourage newcomers very strongly. Of course, all people who already have read the Bhagavad Gita are also welcome, of course, and you can very well participate in this course. And we hope that you enjoy these 18 sessions. It will be a high-end overview of every chapter. So we will not get into the philosophical depths of the Bhagavad Gita, but you will have a complete idea of what the Bhagavad Gita is about and what each chapter teaches us. So today, before I hand over the call to our instructor for the day, I just want to give you a quick introduction of Lalitangi Radha Mataji. Lalitangi Radha Mataji has been practicing this path of bhakti for over two and a half decades, and she has been reading the Bhagavad Gita in great detail for many years. So she is one of the most qualified candidates to actually be presenting this wonderful scripture. So we are very fortunate to have her, and she will walk you through this first day's class. And we had mentioned that the registration would be compulsory. So we want to make sure that we have the names of all the candidates who have registered and who are participating in the class. We'll make a note of it because as announced, we would also be providing certificate of completion at the end of 18 weeks. So that is another thing that I wanted to mention. So I repeat, the class is geared towards adults, and definitely the newcomers would be given preference because it will be a basic starter course for the newcomers, but everyone is actually welcome to this course. So thank you all so much, and I'm going to hand over to Lalitangi Radha Mataji to kickstart this course, and she'll be our first instructor. So Lalitangi Mataji, please take over. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Preeti Vilasni Mataji, for this opportunity. This is a wonderful journey that all of us would repeatedly love to take. Bhagavad Gita is not just a book, but it's a ocean. It's a spiritual ocean of mysteries. So as and when we dive deep into the ocean, we can come out with so many pearls and other treasures of this great ocean. So I thank Bhakti Sangha Japa group and yourself for giving me this opportunity. Of course, surely I'm not qualified, but I'm trying my best because I wanted to please my teachers who had taught me. And in that spirit, I'm here to share what I have learned up to the limit of my realization. And I'm also here to learn from all of you. So thank you so much. So welcome to this Bhagavad Gita as it is by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So we will be covering 18 chapters in 18 sessions, but we may go a little over 2-3 sessions if we want a recap and review, and we may have some kind of questionnaires in between a session dedicated if you want to have some questions, and also we can have a test on how much we learned. So it will be quite an interactive session. So let's start with prayers. So we all understand that how basically every living entity is controlled, and it is only by the mercy of the spiritual teachers and Krishna are we at all in a position to talk something about them. So let's start with prayers. I have given the English meaning of these prayers also. So as I recite, you can also recite on mute, and we will be reading the meaning as well. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with a torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. I offer my respectful obeisances unto His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who is very dear to Lord Krishna, having taken shelter at His lotus feet. Our respectful obeisances unto you, O spiritual master, servant of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami. You're kindly preaching the message of Lord Chaitanya Deva and delivering the Western countries which are filled with impersonalism and voidism. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Nityananda, Sri Advaita, Gadadhar Pandit, Srivas Thakur, and all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. O Krishna, O energy of Krishna, please engage me in your service. So this is the Maha Mantra. Man means mind, and Tran means which delivers. And Maha Mantra means a mantra which has got the potency of all the other mantras in it, and which will work, which is prescribed to work in this age of Kali Yuga. So this mantra has no limitations, no requirements of day and time to chant. Anywhere, anytime we can chant. So since we are going to get this knowledge from Sri Krishna himself from the Bhagavad Gita, and whenever we go to get knowledge or know about something from someone who's a guru or a teacher, we offer them respects. We offer them some dakshina. So this could be our little offering to the Lord. So I request if everyone can chant this 11 times every day. So either in the beginning of the day or in the end of the day, if you have not been chanting this, this is a chanting for great chanting for deliverance. And this could be our humble offering to Lord Sri Krishna. Okay, so what is Bhagavad Gita? Gita, we know that it's song, and Bhagavan is God. Bhagavat is of God. So Bhagavad Gita is song of God. So where is this Bhagavad Gita coming? It is appearing in the great Itihasa called Mahabharata. So Mahabharata, if you take Mahabharata as a chariot, and the important thing that chariot runs on is the wheels, and the wheel is able to rotate because of the axle. If you see the measurement of the axle, that is very less in comparison to the size of the chariot. But then the axle is a main part that keeps the chariot together. So similarly, Bhagavad Gita is only 700 verses in 18 chapters in the Itihasa of Mahabharata, which is about 100,000 or 1 lakh verses. But still, everything in Mahabharata is boiling down to this climax of Bhagavad Gita. So we will read in, we will see more as we come. So where is the position of Bhagavad Gita in the Vedas? So Veda, as we know, the Sanskrit word comes from the root word vid. Vid means to know. So Vedas are the repository of all knowledge. So there is nothing that's available that is not there in the Vedas. So Vedas are also are called Apaurusheya. Apaurusheya means not from human origin. Vedas are coming from the breath of the Lord, and it was spoken first to Brahma, and from Brahma to Narada, and like that way in the line of the spiritual masters, and it has been expanded upon by Vedanta Sutras, Upanishads, and Puranas and Itihasas. So previously, people were Shruti Dara, means if they just hear once, one time in their life, they would never forget it. They can reproduce it. So if all of us are of that caliber, what is the necessity for even writing down? But as the yugas went by and we came to Kali Yuga, all the faculties have become reduced. So our memory is lost, and so there arose a need to write down to preserve the Vedas. So Veda Vyasa wrote these Vedas, Rig, Sama, Yajur, and Atharva, and then they are expanded further. So Vedas are called infallible because they are not written by any human beings. As human beings, we have we have these four imperfections. First is we have imperfect senses. For example, I can very well agree that I have an imperfect eye. With the glasses also, I I cannot see properly, and my son says something, I hear as something else. So we all have understood this, that, many times, because the senses knowledge, the knowledge that we gather from the senses are imperfect, because the senses as such, the instruments are not perfect. And then we have a tendency to commit mistakes. Have you come across any person who has said that I have never committed a mistake so far in my life? It's very hard. You need to be thoroughly egoistic. I don't want to name who's that. Everyone remembers who's that in the recent past, to say that I have never committed a mistake. But normal, sane human being accepts that, I commit mistakes, although I don't want to, but I have a tendency to. And then we have a cheating propensity. That means when we wanted to show up, if somebody is talking about something, although we are not knowledgeable of that matter, we would like to talk as though we are knowledgeable to cover up that. Many of us have come across many such instances, including me, and that's not that's ingrained in us. A human being, to err is human. Why is that? To forgive is divine. Why is that saying? Because of this. And then we are subject to illusion. Illusion means thinking something that which is not true. So we have always, oh, I thought this was this. I thought this happened like this. I thought you said this. That's how misunderstanding happens, especially after WhatsApp comes up. So the speaking is less, and then you type a message and somebody else misunderstands it something else, and then it goes off a different track. So we are all subject to illusion. So the Vedas are apart from this, and what is the purpose of the Vedas? They are the manual for the world. Just like we got a table and we wanted to fix this table, so comes a manual, and how do we do that? Step by step instruction. So like this way, we are born in this world and we see this world existing, and then there is society, and there's family, and then we are growing up, and then we are living life according to what it is. But we need to get a clue, we need to get a hang on of this, that what is this, why am I born here, what is this place in which I'm born, and what is the purpose of life, and why is there something called death, and if God is all perfect, why is there evil in this world, why good things happen to bad people, and people who are seemingly bad are thoroughly happy. So many questions. So these questions, how to answer, the Vedas are the manual. And what is Bhagavad Gita? Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all the Vedas. So the Vedas, as I told you, there are two major divisions, Shruti and Smriti. Shruti has Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka, and Upanishad. Smriti is Sutra, Ramayana, Mahabharat, Manusmriti, and Purana. And Srimad Bhagavad Gita comes in Mahabharata. Because the essence of all the Vedas is to know about the supreme source. Om Purnamadam Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate. Who is this completely perfect person? We are all wanting that completeness. We are all hankering to see the perfect relationship, perfect children, perfect family, perfect everything in this world of imperfections. But then the Vedas show our way to that perfect person and our relationship with him. But when that perfect person is coming and telling about himself, then it becomes the essence of the Vedas. Sarvo Upanishado Gavo. If all the Upanishads are considered, I have taken the form of a cow. Dogda Gopala Nandanaha. The milkman who is milking the cow is Gopala Nandana Krishna. Partho Vatsaha Sudhir Bhokta. Partha, who is Arjuna, is Vatsaha. He's the calf who is drinking the milk. Dugdam Gita Mritam Mahat. So this milk of Bhagavad Gita, which is Amrita, which is nectarian, which is never ending, which is transcendental, is the milk of the Upanishads. That means the milk is the essence of the cow, and Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all the Vedas. Then Bhagavad Gita is meant for all humanity at large. Then one may question, is Bhagavad Gita is a holy book of Hindus, right? Okay, many of you and me also have read a few Puranas, or here and there some stotras, or we have some Ashtakams, or something that's connected to something to do with God, some literature, you know. But is there any word in any of them calling the people who are following this as Hindus? You will not find them, because the word Hindus were given by people who were coming into India. They were looking at the Aryan civilization at the other side of the river Sindhu, and they were doing all sacrifices and penances, and the culture was so deep, they called them Sindhus, who lived on the other side of the river Sindhu, and then slowly it became Hindus. But then what is the real religion? That is called Sanatana Dharma. Religion doesn't convey exactly what Sanatana Dharma means. Dharma, or otherwise, that means the intrinsic quality of something. For example, water. The dharma of the water is liquidity. We cannot separate the liquidity from water. The dharma of the fire is heat and light. That property, which is constantly existing with a particular object, is its dharma. So what is our dharma? So our dharma, if you see, we are, this word sanatana means eternal. So the first concept of all the Vedic literatures and Bhagavad Gita is that we are living forever. We did not start to exist at the time of birth, nor will we cease to exist at the time of death. So that we will see in detail about that. So we are eternal and ever existing, and we have no beginning or end. So this is true for every living entity. The living force that is there in every living entity's body, that doesn't die, that continues to live. What dies is the outward dress or the body. This also we will see in detail in the second chapter. So if we see what is something that cannot be separated from us, if we look around in the world and if we make a study of this, we can see that everybody lives to serve somebody else. For example, in the family, the mother and the father lives to serve the child, and the child in the beginning lives to serve the parents. Then that he serves his friends. Then as he grows, he serves his own family. And similarly, if you see a servant is serving the master, the animals like dog, they like to be servants. They like to serve the master. Okay. And if you take a politician, he's saying that I am here, please elect me so that I can serve you. In quotation, serve you. But then if you see, the shopkeeper serves the customer, and if you take a telephone company, they will put you on hold forever. But they will say that we are just here, thank you for your patience, we are here to serve you. So basically, the thing is, you can change your faith. You may be a Hindu, and then you can change your faith to Muslim, or change your faith to Christian, or change your faith to Buddhist, as what you believe changes. But that doesn't stop that person from rendering his Sanatana Dharma of servitude. So we can study in this world that every living being lives to serve another living being. Every living being, including animals and beasts and insects, every living being is living to serve another living being. So we can safely conclude that service is something that cannot be separated from a living entity. So Sanatana Dharma means that eternal living entity doing that eternal function of service unto the eternal Supreme Lord. That is the religion called Sanatana Dharma. So Bhagavad Gita is the explanation of Sanatana Dharma. So it is not only meant for a particular religionist, but it is meant for people who question, who am I? What am I here for? I need to understand the mysteries of this universe. What is the purpose of my life? And at least why did Corona come about? And what is the solution for that? See, everything is questions. Upanishads is full of questions. If you're questioning, then you're the right candidate to read the Bhagavad Gita. So that questioning capability is a unique opportunity given to a human being. Animals and beasts and other living entities, how many of a species you read in botany and zoology, they cannot question this. Only a human being is given the uh, opportunity to question and also find answers for that. So that's why it's called Athato Brahma Jignasa. Athato means now that you have taken a human birth, spend your time finding out the answers for the $1,000,000 questions in life. That is the meaning of the word Manushya. Manushya means a person who can manipulate his mind. He has given the opportunity to manipulate this mind. And today I was reading in the news, one famous football player, he said, Michael Oher, he said that now he is going to spend most of his charity in mental health, because many people have undergone traumas and they wanted to get out of it, but it is like a chronic disease. So this is something that has become very common in even our medical history industry now. If you have any problem, this is because of stress. Allergy, we don't know why it is, take this pill. This is because of stress. This is because of stress. What is stress? Something to do with the mind. But what is mind? We don't know. And mind is not an individual unit. Just like our, if that's what Ayurveda is, holistic science. If something, you have a headache, it need not necessarily be some problem with the head. It could be some imbalance anywhere else that is coming up as symptom as headache. That is how the Ayurveda deals. It's a holistic medicinal science. Similarly, Bhagavad Gita, it's not enough if you just say, okay, mental health, go find a counselor and find someone to talk to, and you talk something, and then you're all right. No, again, after some time, you're again in the same thing. That's because mind it's not a single unit on its own. Our body, physical body, is connected to the mind, which is in the mental platform, that is connected to the intelligence, which is in the intellectual platform, and everything is connected to the consciousness, which is a symptom of the soul. This holistic idea of our existence, this knowledge of how to understand our wholesome existence is given in the Bhagavad Gita. So how to understand it? It is just like this. If you want to take a medicines, then you look into the direction of that bottle. Okay, take this much under physician's direction, 2 spoons a day if you're over 10 years old, like this. So we look into the directions of the medicine in the bottle, or whatever is given in the medicine, to take the medicine. Similarly, Bhagavad Gita is a medicine for all problems, from individual to familial to social to political to national to international to even interplanetary. Everything, there is a solution in Bhagavad Gita. But how to understand that? Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshantite jnanam jnaninas tattvadashinaha. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. If I am bound by hands and legs and I want relief from this bondage, another person who is also bound by hands and legs, he cannot free me. A person who is free himself, his hands and legs are free, he can come and free me. So such a person is called a self-realized soul. So Bhagavad Gita is teaching us to be a self-realized soul. How to learn this knowledge? To go and learn about this from the self-realized soul. And not only learn, also ask questions to him in a humble mood to understand. And so it is not blind belief, but learning from someone. That is how everything in this world goes, right? If you want to learn a subject, you go to a teacher. And then after learning from a teacher, then you do the labs, practicals. Then whatever you learned makes sense. So similarly, a self-realized person who has learned this knowledge, who is practicing this knowledge, he has in turn learned it by a by hearing from a self-realized soul. Like this way, this chain should go to the ultimate originator of this knowledge. So by rendering service, by asking questions, we get the knowledge, and then by practicing the knowledge, we can experience the truth in ourselves. So who is a spiritual master? Just like, you have a taekwondo master, you have the karate kung fu master. So we have a spiritual master. So spiritual master means he has heard the absolute truth in a disciplic succession coming from Krishna himself, because the same thing applies to him. If he wants to know, he has gone to a self-realized soul, and he has made inquiries, and he has taken this knowledge. So, and he has realized the conclusions. He's not taking it as a blind belief, and also he's not telling um, like in a memorized fashion. He's realizing the knowledge, and he is teaching by his personal example. And his senses must be controlled, must be truthful, and interested in the welfare of all living beings. So that is a definition of a guru. So after telling this, we will go to the 5 basic truths that are present in the Bhagavad Gita. The first truth is Ishvara or Bhagavan, the supreme controller. Who is God? Is he a person? Is he a light? Is he there? Is he visible? Where is he? Is he in one place? Is he everywhere? Is he one or is he many? So many questions are answered under this topic, Bhagavan. The next is Jiva or living entity, about ourselves. We are very interested to know about ourselves, right? We see, like, personality. We look into the astrology. What is this? You're born in this month, so you must be having this characteristics. We want to know more about ourselves, but unfortunately, there is no department in any universities where gives this knowledge about the self. We learn about everything else except for ourselves, for which the human life is a rarest opportunity. So that knowledge Krishna is giving, that how we are living entity, we never die, and we are part and parcel of Ishvara, or the supreme controller. Then where are we? We are in this material nature. So how is this material nature functioning? So material nature, it's constituted by 3 modes, or otherwise called as 3 gunas. Goodness is sattva guna, passion is rajo guna, and ignorance is tamo guna. So we will read about all this. A whole chapter, 14th chapter, is dedicated to the science of Prakriti. So if we know about these modes of nature and the activities according to the modes of nature, then we can choose those activities that would keep us always in the mode of goodness. And we can also introspect and see ourselves where we are. Then comes Kala or time factor. So the time factor is, we all know, time is the ultimate controller. I mean, you can look at me and you can judge my age. And if 30 years before, if I was talking like this, you can still judge my age. So that's because the time's influence on the person is there. Everybody is under the influence of this time factor. And what is karma? Karma is an action that we do and the reactions we get for that. And what is this karma does? That develops the material bodies. Just like if I have some $20, then I can buy something according to that. If I have $200, then I can buy a dress according to that. Similarly, karma is like a eternal, that's what is a bank balance that comes with us, that help us, that give us the next dress, otherwise the next body. But then Bhagavad Gita teaches us how to perform karma in this world so that you can choose your next life, the best life. And also how to, already whatever you have done, how to um, how to escape the reactions for that. So Bhagavad Gita speaks about these 5 basic truths and their interrelationships with each other. Okay, now setting the scene, we saw that this session I was supposed to finish introduction and the first chapter. So yeah, we just finished the introduction and we are going to go into the chapter 1. And here, the person who's sitting here is Dhritarashtra. He is the father of the 100 Kauravas. The person who is speaking to him is his charioteer Sanjaya. And we can see that Sanjaya is envisioning from his heart what's happening in the battlefield by the mercy of his spiritual master Vyasadeva. So Pandavas were 5 righteous souls, and Kauravas were their cousins, 100 of them. And in the and the throne, which was supposed to go to Dhritarashtra because he was blind, it went to Pandu. And Pandu's elder son, Yudhishthira, is a rightful claim for the throne. But then Dhritarashtra had a weak mind and he wanted his sons to get the throne, and his sons, led by Duryodhana, hated Pandavas like anything and was planning from the very beginning to kill them. Because of Vidura's intervention, the Pandavas were saved. Then Duryodhana tricked them into a dice game, and when they were playing the dice game, he almost ripped them off of everything, including their chaste wife Draupadi. And not only that, the injustice, even now, one would dare not do that, was done 5,000 years ago to a queen, Draupadi. She was, her sari was removed by Dushasana in front of all the assembly. And you can imagine the humiliation. And by the holy intervention of Krishna, Draupadi was saved. But then Pandavas had to go to exile. So after they came back, they asked for uh, uh, their rightful kingdom. Duryodhana was not willing to give them even a small piece of land. So Pandavas have to serve in the public administration, being Kshatriyas. So they had no other way other than to uh, come to a war. And even before this war, Krishna went to speak for peace mission. But then Duryodhana wouldn't listen to that also. So war was inevitable. And when Duryodhana and Arjuna, who are cousins, who both came to Krishna seeking his help, Krishna said, there are 2 options. One is myself, and I will not fight in the war. And one of you can choose myself, and the other can choose my vast Yadu army. So Arjuna was given the first choice, and Arjuna immediately chose Krishna. I just want you with me. Duryodhana was so happy. He got what he wanted without any struggle. He got the whole army, Narayana Sena of Krishna with him to fight with him. So Duryodhana was spying each and every country and trying to get everyone, garner everyone's support. He was the best politician. So then, Krishna said that I'm not going to fight the war, but I can drive your chariot, Arjuna. So that is how he came to uh, drive the chariot of Arjuna. And that's where we stand now. So that is how it started. So Krishna is there in Arjuna's, Krishna is driving. He's a chauffeur. He's like, you can see taxi driver, something like that, Uber driver. That was, Krishna was ready to take that position uh, just to please his devotee. So then, so that's where the scene starts. So the first shloka, Dhritarashtra Uvacha. Dhritarashtra is saying, Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yuyutsavaha Mamaka Pandavaschaiva Kima Kurvata Sanjaya. In Dharma Kshetra, in Kurukshetra, what did those people, my sons, Mamakaha and the Pandu sons, Pandavaha, they got together. Kima Kurvata, what did they do? After my sons and the sons of Pandu assembled in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra, desiring to fight, what did they do? So you can see here clearly he's asking my sons and the sons of Pandu. So he was doubtful about the holy influence of Dharma Kshetra. Kurukshetra is a place where yajnas were performed for many, many yugas together. Even the denizens of heaven, they would used to come to Kurukshetra to worship there. Such was the powerful influence of that place, and he is doubtful whether his sons, who were never virtuous, will win the war, or whether Pandavas, maybe because of the holy influence of that place, maybe his sons have compromised and said that, oh Pandus, you can take the kingdom. He was worried. So all these things, he was doubtful, he was fearful because of his deep attachment to his sons. Although he knew that that was wrong and they were going the wrong path, his attachment blinded him. So So he asked that. When he asked that, Sanjaya could understand what is Dhritarashtra interested in. Suppose we have seen that the kids, when they are in this performing in the school annual function, and all the parents are here, what will each parent see? They are all with the camera and the cell phone taking the video of who? Their sons, right? My son. I want to know where in the whole thing, where what my son is doing. That has to be completely. I need to record that. So Sanjaya could understand that Dhritarashtra is asking about Duryodhan. So immediately he said, Duryodhan went to his teacher Dronacharya, and Dronacharya, what he said, that he told to Drona Acharya, he's his own guru, and he says, you see, teacher, you know who's the commander-in-chief of the Pandavas who arranged their army? It is your intelligent disciple Drishtadyumna. And what is he hinting at there? He's saying, don't be liberal to the Pandavas like how you were liberal to Drishtadyumna. So what is the story? Drona had a political quarrel. Dronacharya had a political quarrel with Drupada, the king, and then Drupada performed a yajna to get a son who would be able to kill Drona. And from the yajna came a son, and there was a voice from the sky. It said that his name is Drishtadyumna, and he will be the one who will kill Dronacharya. And what did Drupada do? Drupada took his son Drishtadyumna and entrusted him to Dronacharya to learn the military secrets from him. So Dronacharya was such liberal minded. He taught to Drishtadyumna the same thing that he taught to his own son Ashwatthama, although he knew that he did not keep some secrets to himself. Let me not teach this to Drishtadyumna so that he cannot kill me. No, he was a liberal Brahmana and he taught everything to Drishtadyumna, although knowing that I am destined to be dying at his hands. So Duryodhana is finding out fault. Normally, fault finding itself is a It's like having a thorn in our heart. If we find faults, we are the ones who are bleeding there, because we are the ones who are always thinking of the fault. And imagine finding fault with the acharya, with your own teacher, and hinting at him that you did this mistake, don't be partial to Arjuna. Then he says that he goes to Bhishma, and he says that, see, your power is unlimited, whereas Bhima, who's actually, the person who's protecting the Pandava army, his power is nothing, limited compared to your power. Bhishma's power is so huge that Bhishma defeated his own guru Parashurama when it came once in a battle. Bhishma means unconquerable, and is a name of, nobody can conquer him as long as he has weapons. That everyone knows. So he's saying that to encourage Bhishma, and then he also says that, not only Bhishma and Drona are there are also other people, and he says that not only Bhima and Arjuna are to be worried about. There are so many warriors that are equal in their capacity to that we need to be worried about. He gives a list of all of them. He gives a list of the chief soldiers in his army, and then he says that everyone should give support to Bhishma. This is exactly like a political manifesto. You are great, he is great, everyone is great. Finally, I am great. All of you should make sure that I win. So this was after Duryodhana said that, uh, then they started. So what did Bhishma Dev do? Bhishma Dev did not answer anything, but he took his conch and blew his conch. When the conch is blown, that means it's announced that the war has officially started. So here we see that when Bhishma blew his conch shell, then everybody in his side, the Kaurava side, they blew the conch shell. Then Krishna and Arjuna blew the conch shell, and uh, yeah. So Krishna's conch shell is Panchajanya, and Arjuna's conch shell is Devadatta, and they all blew this conch shell. And when the Pandavas blew the conch shell, it is mentioned, Sagosho Dharta Rashtrana Hridayani Vyadharayan Nabascha Prithvin Chaiva Tumulo Abhyanu Nadayan. The blowing of these conch shells became uproarious, vibrating both in the sky and on the earth. It shattered the hearts of Dhritarashtra. So after the blowing of Pandavas and Kauravas conch shell, we can see here that Pandavas' victory, there were so many signs. Although in measurement, Pandavas' army was maybe 1/3 or even less than that. I'm not exactly sure, but very less compared to the huge army of the Kauravas. But then Pandavas had Rishikesha. Rishikesha is the name for Krishna, who's known as a controller of the senses. And Krishna was guiding by his counsel. And wherever Krishna is there, Lakshmi is also there, the goddess of fortune, and they were blessed by the holy place, because those who are virtuous, the holy place blessings are there on them. Then Arjuna actually took up his bow and arrow, and he started to he took his bow and he arrow, and he was starting to fight. Before that, he said that this is what he said. After he took his bow and arrow and he was about to fight, he paused and he said, "O infallible one, please draw my chariot between the two armies so that I may see those present here who desire to fight and with whom I must contend in this great trial of arms." BG stands for Bhagavad Gita. That is text 21 and 22. And then 23, again Arjuna is saying the same thing, and here the 24 is that Sanjaya said, O descendant of Bharata, having thus been addressed by Arjuna, Lord Krishna drew up the fine chariot in the midst of the armies of both parties. So Bhagavad Gita basically is a conversation between Dhritarashtra and Sanjaya, and Sanjaya is narrating to Dhritarashtra what's happening in the battlefield between Arjuna and Krishna. What is a conversation? So, so Arjuna has no intention of not fighting at all because he was ready. He even took his arrow, but he wanted to go to only make an estimation of the strength of the enemy. So when Arjuna said that, Krishna drew up the fine chariot in between both the parties. When Arjuna and Krishna especially took his chariot before Bhishma and Drona. So Arjuna had a clear vision of the so-called enemies. But there, he was not seeing his enemies anymore. Whom he was seeing? Text 28, Arjuna Uvacha, Drishtve Swajanam Krishna, Yuyutsam Samupastitam, Sidanti Mama Gatrani, Mukamcha Parishusyati. Arjuna said, my dear Krishna, seeing my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth drying up. Because when he's seeing them, he's not just seeing, he's seeing with his intelligence. He's seeing what will happen after the war. I'm ready to fight the war. That means I'm ready to kill them. That means they are ready to kill me. Only one of them will survive. Even if we have one close relative in the family pass by, you can imagine the vacuum that creates in the family. And this Arjuna is going to see all his relatives. Practically, they are lined up. So he's seeing them, envisioning them passing away. And he said, oh Krishna, what is this are we going to do? I don't know, why are we even here to fight? What am I going to get by achieving, by killing them? After all, for this piece of land. And anyway, after that, I mean, I don't want to, because this land, I will get it at the cost of their blood. So it will be like, I have a sari, but there is a blood stain in it. So it will be tainted by their blood, and it will always remind me that I have obtained this kingdom after being the cause for them to shed their blood. They are aggressors, no matter what. They did all unmentionable things, but I am ready to forgive them because I don't see any good in fighting with them. So he is talking all this. And what's happening? His famous Gandiva bow is slipping out of his hand. You see, he was ready. He even took his bow out of the bow out of the quiver. But then when will something slip out of the hand? When the hand is shaking, right? The shoulder is shaking. And he was so much perturbed that he was not even able to stand. Not because he was a coward, not because he was not brave enough to face them, because of his soft-heartedness. He did not want to kill them. Why? Because he had compassion for his friends and relatives. Why are there friends and relatives? Because we help each other in terms of need. And I'm calling them, I'm calling myself a relative of them, and see what I'm ready to do. I'm ready to kill them. This is nonsense. So I don't want to kill them. And what will I get after killing them? There is no enjoyment because they will not be present. And in fact, he's saying that if the sons of Dhritarashtra are dead, then we should not be even alive. I mean, okay, I remember a story in Mahabharata, but there's no time for that. So then he's saying, Krishna, how can I kill Bhishma and Drona and all the others? Relatives, killing relatives is sinful, produces sinful reaction. Killing is sin. So I mean, I don't know where I will go to by killing them. And all the men are in the battlefield. I kill all the men. What will happen to the women? They are unprotected. And because women are unprotected, they will be polluted by those who are living in the forests. Those men who are not here, the forests dwellers, they would take advantage of the woman. And after that, there will be unwanted progeny. And unwanted progeny cannot think properly. They will become anti-social, anti-communal elements. They cannot think for the welfare of the society. They will think only for the destruction. And with all the elders passing away, how will the family traditions be passed on to the younger generation? And then, because there is nobody to teach us what the tradition is, the younger generation will not give any pinda or the offering that has to be offered to the ancestors. It will be completely stopped. So they will also go to hell. And who will be the reason for all of this? The mighty Arjuna. I don't want that, Krishna. And finally, what he said, he thought about all this, and then Krishna is just listening what's happening to him. And whatever reasons he said are very perfect. He was ready to sacrifice his own life for the sake of killing others. And not only for the others, he's thinking of the impact that will have on the religion, on the society, on future generations, on everything. And Arjuna is very, very sharp. He's called Gudakesha, who has conquered sleep. You can fast, but without sleeping is very hard. So Arjuna has such power, intellectual and mental power. And with all that, he made the analysis of the situation, and then he came to this conclusion. Sanjaya said, Evam Uktuarjuna Sankye Ratopasta Upavishad Vishrajyasa Sharam Chapam Shoka Samvigna Manasaha. This is 46th verse. Sanjaya said, Arjuna, having thus spoken on the battlefield, cast aside his bow and arrows and sat down on the chariot, his mind overwhelmed with grief. So when the mind is overwhelmed with grief, we cannot do anything. So basically, we are not acting with our body, but we are acting with our mind and intelligence, which we have no knowledge about how it works. So suppose I have a cut in the skin, then I take care of the cut. I see that I put the injection if required, I put stitches, I do everything, and then I see that it is healing. But what is the mind? In mind, we are carrying so much hurts, so much trash for years together, for generations together. 20 years before, what happened? Who did what to me? 30 years before. Thank God we don't remember our previous lives. Otherwise, we will only remember who did what to me in the previous life. So this is important. If we don't take care of mind properly with a proper mantra yoga, we don't do something every day. Like we clean the house with a vacuum cleaner, we dust everything. But then we don't bother to clean the mind of the trash. Of course, trash comes, but we need to clean the mind of the trash. If we don't do this, then we'll have a breakdown like Arjuna at the right moment. This is called Arjuna moments. Many times, many of us have experienced this, that I cannot go on further like this. And then at that time only we will ask, why God, you are doing this to me? Until that time when we enjoy, we don't even care whether God is present or not. I worked, I got this. But when there is a small distress and disappointment, at that time we look up and say, why are you doing that to me? That's because we have an eternal relationship with him of right and responsibility. That is the actual fact. But the point is, we are ignorant of why things are happening to us, and Bhagavad Gita is for enlightening us. So such a kind and soft-hearted Arjuna is a non-violent person, and then he is fit to receive self-knowledge. by inquiring about soul. But this is not for people who are cruel and violent. So in summary, the first chapter, first text is Dhritarashtra's inquiry to Sanjaya. Text 2 to 11 is Duryodhana's fear and diplomacy in describing the armies. 12 to 19 is just how basically the war has started, blowing of different conch shells. And then 20 to 27, Arjuna observes the armies in the light of the real, he doesn't just see the army, he sees with his intelligence, he sees with his capacity, he sees with his soft-heartedness and with his compassion. Then 28 to 46 are wonderful reasons for not to fight, which are all very, very valid. And Arjuna is ready to sack. He says that I'm going to put down, basically after the conch is blown, that means you have to be alert. Anybody can hit you anywhere. But then I am ready to put down my bow and arrow. Let me be unarmed. And even if they kill me, it's okay. That means he's ready to sacrifice his own life, but then he didn't want to fight. And then in fact, he's saying that what is wrong? Anyway, Duryodhana is bad, but why we have to fight and cause so much havoc in the country that he is ruling? Let him rule. Let him be peaceful. So that was his quality of compassion, quality of soft-heartedness, quality of forgiveness, and all those are very valid reasons to not to fight. And the first chapter ends there. So, so we have successfully seen an overview of the first chapter. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, who has translated and given the commentary for this wonderful, wonderful literature. Because of this, we are able to read this now. So we will pause here, and if you have any questions or comments, we can take that now. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Lalitangi radha Mataji, thank you so much for such a beautiful session. So now we welcome the participants. If you have any questions or you want to share any realization from this session, you can go ahead and please ask Mataji if you have any clarifications. Thank you.
So it could be any question. If you have any question on Bhagavad Gita or anything that I was not clear about, or anything you wanted to discuss, you're free to ask, or even you can type in the chat box.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandava Pranam. Thank you so much for wonderful class, Mataji. I'm trying to learn the Bhagavad Gita, and you are I'm trying to get whatever you're saying. So please bless me so I can understand more and more. So Mataji, I have a question. Just it's like regarding. So some people said that I have confusion, like who really heard the Bhagavad Gita when the discuss, so it's only Dhutras, it's Sanjay and Dhutras, and someone was saying it's barbaric too. So on some, so it's basically, so who, and all the soldiers and all the other side of the Kaurava side, so what happened to that time? Did the time stop, or that 45 minutes when the Lord said this Gita to Arjuna? So how can I understand, how can we understand that the time stop, or who listen, or so Mataji, if you can please clarify that.
Yeah, please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. I know you're a very advanced devotee, and I'm just trying to serve a little. So I have heard that when this conversation was happening, the arrangement of phalanx was going on. Basically, both the armies were miles long and they were scattered. So from here also, people were busy. The Kauravas are also busy bringing the armies together. So they were huge number, And so to bring them together to march and then, start attacking, and they were also, Pandavas were also coming that. So in that, this 45 minutes went like that. Basically, it was like arranging the army and things like that. That's what we see, right? They have started blown the conch, and they both are approaching each other, and they may have to, the elephants, the horses, and everyone has to walk in line, and then where the elephants have to meet the elephants of this army. So when all the arrangement was happening within that time, this was told. That's what I heard, Mataji.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji. And who are the person who really actually hear the Bhagavad Gita?
Okay, so Bhagavad Gita was heard by Arjuna, of course, and Sanjaya is telling it to Dhritarashtra, and who's writing it down is Vedavyas. So Vyasadeva is writing this down as because it's itihasa, he's also coming in and going out. If you see, even before, during the war also he comes in the 11th day. He comes, and then when Abhimanyu is passed away, he talks to them, and even in the Vanavas, he comes to the Pandavas, and so he has written this while it was happening. So he is basically, you see, in even Bhagavatam, the conversation between Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj is retold by Suta Goswami to Shaunaka Rishi. And then, so in that conversation, so many conversations come, Maitreya and Vidura. Then we have Yudhishthira and Narada, and like that, right? So like this way, in Mahabharata also, we see the same pattern, Dhritarashtra and Sanjaya, and within that, Arjuna and Krishna, and Vyasadeva is writing them. That's what I heard of Mataji, but I can clarify more on this from senior devotees.
No, it's so. No, Mataji, don't need to. That's whatever says perfect, Mataji. No, thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, Hare Krishna. Are you from Kentucky?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay.
Yes.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
My question is that how many days Krishna told Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna?
How many days?
Krishna told Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna.
Yeah, Krishna told Bhagavad Gita in 45 minutes, approximately.
Thank you much.
Yeah, because it's like if what I spoke for 1 hour, if you write it down, it would definitely come like 1,400, 1,500 sentences or more. So if you take 700 verses, it's like some are four-line verses, but basically they are 2 verses. It's around 1,500 to 2,000 sentences, and they were talking in Sanskrit. So yeah, that was the time that took for them. And you can imagine, we are reading it again and again and again and trying to understand, and Arjuna understood, and he immediately applied it also in 45 minutes.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji.
It's Anurag, and
Okay,
so
Anurag.
when Arjuna was listening to the Bhagavad Gita, was Dhritarashtra and Sanjaya listening at the same time?
Yeah, Sanjaya was telling it to Dhritarashtra, yes, at the same time. And Sanjaya was able to envision this by Vyasadev's blessings. So that's why you see Sanjaya Vacha, Sanjaya in between is coming, but he's telling that.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you, Anurag. Any other questions?
Hare Krishna Mataji, pranams Mataji. Someone wants to ask, please carry on, Prabhuji. Please carry on.
One question, Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanvat Pranam Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji, for the class. One general question is, like, that time the paper was not there, so it was written in the leaves, and how this history is being preserved. Any information on that, Mataji?
Okay, so it was written. It was written in like palm leaves. They said, right. That's how even 400, 500 years also before that, Goswamis, they used to write in the leaves, and then that was preserved as manuscripts. So that is how it was written. But we know that who wrote it, right? Ganesh Ji is the one who wrote it when Vyasadeva was saying it. So we have almost, like, I think it was rendered into English in 1820 or 1830. I remember seeing in somebody else's house this thick book of 3 or 4 books of Mahabharata, because there are so many stories and sub-stories and sub-stories and sub-stories is going on. So that's how I understand. But if anyone wants to add, Preeti Vilasni Mataji, do you have any insights on this?
No, Mataji. I mean, I'm just hearing from you. All that I know is from you.
Yeah, this is what I've heard, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Maybe relevant. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Pranams. Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. The class was so nectarian and wonderful. Mataji, I heard from someone, I'm not very sure whether it's authoritative. I heard that Sanjaya was also there in the war when it was happening. And then he came back when Bhishma Dev was with the bed of arrows. When he was lying down on the bed of arrows, he came down to say these things to Dhritarashtra. So the saying are a little, the past tense. Meaning to say it was not on the same day. That is what I heard, Mataji, but I don't know whether it is correct or... please correct my understanding, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I have also heard that from Mataji in Mahabharata. When we read that by Krishna Dharma Prabhu or Purna Prajna Das, so he says that Sanjaya comes in and out. But this Bhagavad Gita was told as it is. Then he goes and then he comes back and then he tells what happened in between the first day, second day, third day, what happened, like that. I mean, he comes and then he says 2-3 days in the war what happened. Then he goes, then he was there in the war. That's what even I have read. But I can confirm this, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thanks a lot, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
So, do we have any other questions or anything you want to share with
Thank
Lalitangi?
you, Mataji. Dandot Pranam.
Dandot Pranam, Mataji.
Beautiful class, Mataji. Mataji, is it not like Vyasadeva gave the divine vision to Sanjaya and he was actually seeing what is happening there and narrating to the Dhritarashtra and
Yeah, that's what we read in the purport also here, right? Vyasadeva was able to see in the television that what was happening there and he was able to narrate. So this is what this version, like I have read, this is from our Bhagavad Gita, and also what Mataji said I have read in Mahabharata also, like that. So exactly what part he narrated, and maybe he stopped and then he went back and then he came back, I'm not exactly sure of that. But if anyone knows here, they can share that. Otherwise we can ask someone and get back, Mataji.
I think someone else also had a question. Okay, let me
Hare
read the...
Krishna, Mataji.
Go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Done with Pranam, Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all glories to your wonderful service. And you made such a beautiful explanation. Mataji, I just wanted to mention one of my friends, Swarna Jagtap, she's joined from India. And so I just wanted you to just introduce her.
Thank you
And
so much, Swarna
she is such a
ji.
wonderful devotee, Mataji. She does not have any association over there. In short, and she was so excited about this course that I think this was the last registration which we did. And when I told her, she immediately was so eager to join. And
Wow.
she and like the last 2 years back, when she got introduced to Krishna consciousness, it was just by our talks which were from US, when I was talking to her. And she used to say, keep on talking, I just like to hear about it. And I
Wow.
just and after that, like by Krishna's mercy, she also was gifted by the Srimad Bhagavatam set. And she gets up in the morning. She does not have any association. She gets up in the morning 5 o'clock. She completes her rounds, and then she reads Srimad Bhagavatam. She makes it a point. She reads then Bhagavad Gita. Her husband has told her that because the child, her daughter, is in 12th grade now, that she will not be able to do many more things. But on her part, she does all whatever sadhana she can do. I think from past 1 year, she's been chanting 16 rounds now, and without any
Very
association,
good.
just by the talks whatever we have. And she listens to the lectures. So and she was so eager to join our classes. So I just thought that that day, she was literally in tears. And I asked her what happened, and she said, I was listening to the video, and I was looking at the video wherein in Russia, how the Bhagavad Gita was, like how the movement started over there, and how people became devotees. And she was so disturbed by it, and she said that, so we have got it so easily, and we should really cherish it. So I just wanted to introduce it to her, mother, to you, Mataji.
Oh my
So
God, I can visualize her taking classes very soon. Swarna Mataji, you would be teaching Bhagavad Gita very soon. Thank you so much. We are so inspired. I wish I have your eagerness and your steadfastness. Definitely, no doubt, you're carrying it from previous lives. So I'm so happy to be of some service to you, Mataji. And thank you so much for your association. Please come and inspire us all.
Surna, unmute ho. Maybe somebody's sleeping, so she might not unmute.
Oh, okay, okay. Thank you so much. Yeah, really. Thanks to you, Sita.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
So nice, Mataji. So nice to have you here and to see your determination. And we wish, you bless us all with this inspiration and eagerness to practice Krishna consciousness.
Thank
Thank
you,
you so much.
Mataji.
Thank you. Thanks to you, Mataji. This is just an overview of Bhagavad Gita. I mean, all of here, mostly I see stalwarts. Here, I'm just, we are just covering one chapter in one session. So not, Sita Priti Mataji is taking so nicely for kids and so in depth and so nice. And yeah, I'm very thankful to you for that, Mataji. This is just an overview of the chapter, whatever we can give. Yeah.
We are referring to yours and Priti Vilasini Mataji's classes, Mataji. So we
No,
are copycats.
that's a humility. That's a humility. Yeah, so we can, if you have any feedbacks, also you can say that what else you wanted to incorporate in this session. If you have any particular thing, if you don't want to put it in the group, you can send it to one of us, one of the coordinators, messages also. So we can, maybe we can post some questions based on this for the next week so that we keep this knowledge brushed up, and you can keep answering that from the first chapter till we go to the second chapter next week in the WhatsApp group.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Lalitangi radha Mataji. And I see a lot of messages on the chat, a lot of people thanking you for this very wonderful session. And
Hare
I just
Krishna
wanted,
Mataji.
yes, please go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt. Actually, I wanted to register. By the time I could register, like the number of members were like full, so I did not get a chance to register.
That's okay. We have noted your name already as we saw it on the screen. So we'll keep a note of that and we'll follow up with you. Thank you, Harita.
I have one request, Mataji. Like, I also want to learn the Sanskrit verse, like the sloka also. If that is also like a part of this session, it will be really helpful. We'll be able to learn the Sanskrit words as well as the translation and the purports. So that will be like, I know it is very difficult that we learn in one session, but at least we will know how to pronounce those shlokas.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We have our expert Sukasagri Mataji who can teach the shlokas also. So we can see how we can do that. We can. Are you in the WhatsApp group, Mataji? Harita Mataji, right?
Yeah, yes, Mataji.
You are in the WhatsApp group, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we will talk with the coordinators to see how we can do that, and we can brainstorm some ideas, and we will see how we can include this, Mataji. We will try our best.
Yeah, sure, Mataji. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanwad Pranam Mataji. Very nice class, Mataji. Mataji, I have a doubt. So you mentioned that before the war, Krishna went to the Duryodhana to convince that. But as I understand is to listen the lectures and from you and others, that is for the Leela, it's happened. But he knows, Krishna knows, right, Mataji, even war should be there. But even though he went and he tried to convince the Duryodhana. And one more thing is, even that Yudhishthira and Draupadi, as you said, in that the Mahabharata, they suffered a lot, but at the end, they got a peace. But even though they suffered a lot, because of the Leela, or is there any past lives or any past karma, they took the positions in this yuga because of the Leela. Can you explain that, Mataji, at least to tell to others also?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mataji, for the very nice question. So this peace mission, yes, Krishna did it really with a heart. It was not Leela. He wanted to go on a peace mission. He wanted to give them a chance. If they had accepted for peace mission, then how war would have happened or not, we don't know, because Krishna can change anything at any point of time. That's why he's inconceivable. So suppose in the previous Dwapara Yuga, if we see the Mahabharata, it might have changed a little bit. He could have, annihilated the demons even without a war, if he wanted to. So, but really he wanted to give peace a chance, so that people will not blame the Pandavas that, or Krishna, that he did not even go and try to make a peace mission. But then they did not agree for that. So if they had agreed, Krishna would have annihilated the demons in some other way, even without war, because God is inconceivably powerful to do anything at any point of time. He can change. So that is his power. And the second one is when the pure devotees, they are undergoing some trouble, it is not that because of karma they are undergoing. For ordinary people, karma comes in place. But then for Krishna and Krishna's pure devotees, karma is not in place. That's why Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that I namam karmani limpanti name karma phale spriha. I am not under the laws of material nature, and no karma binds me. So Krishna is so much devoted to his devotee. Krishna is a servant of his devotee, and Krishna says that what is that? Mamevaye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. So when you surrender to me, you can overcome the material nature. And also he says, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vaja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami. From all papas, from all sinful activities, I will give you liberation. Do not worry. So this is for people who are surrendering to the Lord, Krishna is telling that. That means there only all karmas are burnt for them. And for people who like Draupadi and Yudhishthira, who are so much in love with the Supreme Lord, there is no question of karma acting. But then Krishna uses them to teach something in this world. Like Prabhupada gives the example that when you go to the mother-in-law tells her daughter something, she scolds her daughter to teach her daughter-in-law. She cannot scold the daughter-in-law, but she can scold her daughter because of the relationship. Similarly, the pure devotees are so much in tune with Krishna that whatever Krishna does, they will not leave him and they are completely surrendered to him. So in order to make their glories known to the world, that Krishna puts them in that seeming difficulty, which is a great difficulty for us, but for them, it is a chance for them to remember the Lord and glorify the Lord. So for them, they don't see that as difficulty. In fact, Yudhishthira was telling in the Vanavas that I'm happy to be here, because he doesn't have any administration, any kingly things. What he was doing in the Vanavas, always listening to rishis and munis. He had always them, always in a hermitage, always listening. So he was happily and peacefully there. But Bhima and Draupadi was only getting upset that why are we here? Why should we be here? Of course, that's also part of the katha. But for Yudhishthira, it was not a suffering. So that's what I heard, Mataji.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. So the first one, what you said is, Krishna is not intentionally to tell the Bhagavad Gita, right? First he tried to peace for the Duryodhana, and then he didn't agree, then it will happen. The war happened and Krishna told his Bhagavad Gita. Is this Mataji?
Yeah. If peace would have happened also, he would have told Bhagavad Gita to Duryodhana only. We might be reading that now. If Duryodhana changes also, that's a good climax, right? Kauravas who did not change all the while, then Duryodhana changing, we don't know. It could be in some other kalpa like that. But then, yeah, Krishna is in complete control of everything, and anything he can handle at any point of time.
Okay, thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna again. So thank you very much. Thanks to each and every one of you for your participation. We request all of you to continuously join these sessions, join all the 18 sessions so that you get a overall idea of the Bhagavad Gita. And at the end of 18 sessions, you will be awarded a certificate. There will also be quizzes and other interactive sessions through the journey of reading the 18 chapters. So please stay tuned and please continue to attend these sessions. Next week, we will be seeing an overview of chapter 2 with some interactive questions and other activities. So thank you so much. And anyone else wants to say anything else, please go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. So Lalitangi Mataji, shall we then wind up all for today? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for this opportunity. Thanks for Bhakti Sangha Japa group for this opportunity for sharing Bhagavad Gita. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you all so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. And generally we end with a prayer to all the devotees who have joined. So all of you have been very kind enough to give your time to us and listen to the message of the Bhagavad Gita. So offering prayers to all the participants, we can end the call. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
We'll keep you all updated through WhatsApp, so stay in touch through the group. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.